feel about how girls are treated in the society, like education and whatever?
So I think that girls are treated poorly compared to guys or men, especially in STEM fields, because women are often discouraged from joining STEM fields because they are a male-dominated field. And I think that early on in school, girls are kind of conditioned to stay away from those fields. For example, I, growing up, always wanted to be a scientist. And so in high school, I remember telling my teacher that I wanted to go to medical school, and she told me, the first thing she said was, "Do you know how long that's going to take?" And that really broke my heart because from a teacher and educator, I expected more encouraging words, especially as someone already going into a field that's going to be difficult because it's a male-dominated field, and she was a woman. So that kind of was like, whatever, hater. But growing up, I stuck with that. I had a lot of encouragement from my mom, a lot of encouragement from my dad as well, and they continue with my pursuit and love for science. And so at Emory, I studied neuroscience with hopes of becoming a doctor, which is still my plan. However, now I'm a science teacher in which I can use my power in the classroom to encourage young girls to stick with the sciences and not ask them how long it's going to take to finish a degree, but encourage them and provide them with the resources necessary to finish those degrees in STEM fields. And that's why I became a science teacher.
What advice do you have for young girls that people tell them they're not good enough? What would you tell yourself?
What would I tell myself?
When your teacher told you that?
Well, when she told me that, immediately I thought that she probably was miserable in her own job and she wanted to be doing something else. And so people tend to reflect the energy that they are feeling on the inside. And so I would just tell the young girls to follow your dreams, do exactly what you want to do, and make sure you're living a fulfilled life. Because it's important to be able to wake up and actually enjoy why you're going to school or why you're going to work or why you're doing what you're doing. And I think it's important also to not only focus on one thing. So if you're interested in neuroscience and French, you should do both. Or if you're interested in science and fashion, do both.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, how do you feel about how women are treated in today's society?
You know, I feel like women don't, it's the same paradigm that's been said over and over again, but that women aren't respected the same way that men are respected. And unfortunately, even in, 2018, that is still the case. And I think a lot of that comes from not only like the social inequality where men are still perceived as being the dominant one or the one who's going to take charge and lead, but also that women have been taught this behavior of like meekness, where we're afraid to take charge. We're afraid to be the leader because of how men will perceive us and because of how other women will perceive us. And I think that that's something that really needs to be broken down for women to get the respect and get the positions and get the place in society that they deserve.
Do you have any advice about how to go about change?
So I think the best way for us to elicit change in our society is to be individuals, to go out, to not be afraid to be alone or to be weird or to have our own project or do whatever it is, but instead of following what culture says we should do, instead of like buying makeup and being pretty and worrying about how our appearance is or how we're perceived by other people or our presence on social media, instead going after the things that we love, because we all have something that we're passionate about. And if we can go after that wholeheartedly and not worry about how other women or other men will perceive us, then I think that will bring social change. And that behavior will also encourage others to do the same. So my advice is to not be afraid, to do what you want to do what you love, and go after it passionately with everything in you. And I think that you will succeed, and I think that as a whole, our society will succeed as well.
Thank you.